8
always.
weeks into this continue to be a challenge, but we're here to talk about how we're adapting, if we're adapting, what clowning looks like for us right now. And Ilana, I'm wondering.
Hola, my name is Ilana. I am a clown. I am the director of CaliClown. It's a clown organization, a social clown organization in Cali, Colombia, South America, not Colombia. You can tell by my accent that I am in South America right now. And yes, I do the production of all CaliClown activities. We work in hospitals, we work with communities, we work with Clowns Without Borders, long time ago already. We used to work in all these places. Now we are on Facebook. Yes, I am also a mother. And that's a lot of work. And that's it.
Sabine, do you want to say who you are, where you are, what you used to do and what you do now?
Okay, so I'm Sabine Choucair from Lebanon. I'm a clown and I started Clown Me, a group of clowns. We love the streets. We love just being silly, and we do a lot of work. We use a lot of clowning for social justice. We go on the streets. We go to demonstrations. And we perform for refugees and people living in harsh conditions in Lebanon and around the Arab countries. We, of course, work with Clowns Without Borders. I mean, I've been working with Clowns Without Borders for years and years and years. So I always feel like I'm a member, this is my family. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. And since for the past 3.5 months, I became a mother. So mostly I'm breastfeeding most of the time and stuck at home. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's fun sometimes, only when.
Naomi Shafer, I'm the director of Clowns Without Borders, and until a few months ago, yeah, I could tell you what we were doing. We were working with Clown Me In and CaliClown and performing all over the world, and now we're in this place of unknowing, and today is really a chance mostly for us to talk about how we're adapting. We don't have a very strong program. We're still in a place of questions. One of the things that I've appreciated over the past few months and then the past few years of doing this work is that, both of you are people who I reach out to, both to collaborate when I know what I'm doing, but also in those moments where I don't know what's going on. And for Facebook Live, I would love to know where you are, if you type it into the comments, and also if you have a question for us. So Sabine and Ilana, I guess, what's something that that surprised you, maybe that's been good out of this moment of being home? Is there anything that's surprised you and been good?
Oh,
no.
I have to think about it.
See, I try to answer that question many times a day during this time in order not to collapse completely. And yes, I found that I'm learning to cook some weird stuff, and I have the time to fail a lot doing that. I do think this pause has done a great for nature, which is something that we in the city don't think about that much. But oof, the ocean is cleaner, the sky is bluer, and I do think that's important. I've had a lot of time at home, and I don't know if that's good or bad anymore, you know. And also, bueno, to stop and think, to ask ourselves questions that we don't have the time to ask, or to read something that we don't have the time to read. Or I am lying because I don't have time to read now anyway. But but yes, to have a little bit more of time and to stop running, even though it has been hard for me to stop running, because I find myself running around the house anyway. But yes, like this call to be quiet for a little bit, it's something that I find good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree on the part of just taking a step back and just taking a moment back. I was enjoying it more in the beginning, in the first few weeks. We started the lockdown pretty early. We started the lockdown in mid March, or 12th or 13th of March. So oh, is it me who's no? So yeah, so it's so I was enjoying it, but then I'm like, I'm also enjoying the fact that I have time to spend with my daughter and everything, but also there's also all this worry that I have about, you know, all the refugees who are in Lebanon and elsewhere as well, whom we've visited with Clowns Without Borders and Clown Me, and all the time thinking, we are so lucky to be able to stay at home and be able to keep living and keep going, while so many people cannot stay home. Like they can't financially, they can't do that, or the situation where they live in, that does not allow them to stay there. And I keep on worrying about, once the pandemic hits these places, what will we do? That's like one worry that I really have. And then the other thing is, as a clown and as a group that really functions with people and with this live action and reaction and being there and being in the moment and playing with people, like I'm really finding it super hard to find alternative ways through the screen. I mean, I'm not used to sitting in front of the screen for hours and hours, and I'm trying to do you know, the online fun workshops, and then we're thinking about doing small videos now to send to the camps and everything, but really this screen, I'd like to break it.
And that was your answer to what's good. To break it. I guess we'll just cross off the next question, which what's hard.
I'll think about the good things, and I'll
the good thing.
It's just, you know, yeah. I mean, it's good to see your face every 2 days to check how to do Zoom on Facebook. That's a good thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I've also been in this place of like, what's good, and I feel really excited about like, oh, this has been a moment of learning how to do this, how to have these conversations, like having a conversation, the three of us. I talk to one of you probably every day, and to have these moments of like, we've had some really great online online conversations and these moments of meeting new people and connecting in new ways. And I also, I have this worry and this fear of like, oh, but are we getting to the audiences who we used to reach? And I miss knowing who my audience is. People on Facebook Live, like, I have no idea if you're really watching. And usually, there's somebody in the audience who's like sitting and scowling. I'm like, okay, that's direct feedback. I know what to do. And for this, it's the screen is a very cold object to play with. It doesn't give me a lot back. And my computer, I feel a little nervous about like how hard I play with my computer, because I also don't want to break it. So since we did such a good job of answering what was good, we'll go right to...
Let's talk about what's bad.
Let's talk about what's good. Okay, Sabine, you're ready.
No, I'll tell you what's good. Here, I brought them. So we have a school in Lebanon, the International Institute for Very, Very Serious Studies, and we're doing the classes online now. And last time I found behind me, I was giving the class, and I found all of these. So I thought this is how I was giving the class. Like this. It's also like how much fun you can have.
Thinking about our audience, it's definitely very hard. And for me, at the beginning of this situation, also in Colombia, we started like the quarantine at the middle of March. The beginning of the quarantine for me was very hard because we were just canceling the tour with Clowns Without Borders. We talked about this the other day also. To have to call all these places where we know we are so needed and they were expecting us and say, we don't know what's going on and we won't show up. Clowns Without Borders are not coming, and we need to cancel this. And then realize that Colombia is getting all these rules that we need to stay at home. And I couldn't stop thinking about the communities we work with, the people, the homeless people we work with. One of the projects I work with is in a very vulnerable community, very poor community in Iquitos, in the Peruvian Amazon. And thinking of all the difficulties they have in their life as it is, the fact that there's a family of 10, 12 people living in a very small place, sharing one pot to do the necessities or doing them outside, no water, no income, like you go out and you sell something and you have something to live with that same day. And this community since last year has had a lot of leptospirosis. I don't know if you say that in English, leptospirosis. It's a disease that comes from rat poop, a lot of dengue, and all the difficulties that we know of poverty, of poor or non-public health, and thinking how is it possible for these people to stay at their homes, and what are they going to do? The women suffering from internal violence in their houses, and now they have to stick with a violator in their. All these things go in my mind and came to my mind a lot at the beginning of the quarantine, and it was unbearable. Like how can we do something for these people? And even now, the markets in many places have closed, like the local market, especially in Iquitos, that I am very close to that community, the government decided to destroy the market in order to avoid people going and selling things last weekend. And this is insane. I mean, we have this opportunity of staying at home and thinking about our problems now, but there are people in the world living in crisis, really, like refugees that are not refugees anymore. They live for how many years already in a refugee camp? It's not a how do you say, like transitional state. It's already there for and thinking in Cali, for example, with the communities we work with, if the government hasn't solved anything for them, and if they live under these circumstances before COVID-19, how can we think something will be different now? And the fact that we cannot reach these people right now, because also the audience for whom CaliClown works most of the time has no access to internet or to Facebook or to Zoom even. They don't even have data to get a phone call from WhatsApp, for example. We are trying to visit some kids in the public hospital virtually, inspired by the work that we know other hospital clowns or medical clowns are doing around the world. And our audience has no access to Zoom or even to data in their phones to get a WhatsApp call. So it's very no say, if I start thinking about these things, it really starts getting very dense. And I'm sorry, I see the faces of Naomi and Sabine like, shit. It's horrible.
No, I mean, you're right. It's really challenging, yeah.
Well, and it's Yarina. I mean, that's the piece that I know that my mother keeps reminding me that I've had a very poor sense of humor about this, right? And there are these moments where it's like someone like makes a joke about you know, and I feel there are these moments that I'm like, oh wait, I spend a lot of time talking about like, oh, it's so important to laugh, and then they get into these moods where I'm thinking about the world and I don't think anything is funny. And I also, Ilana, I mean, we've talked about going into these spirals of, you know, this question of like, okay, but is it making a difference, and how do we make a difference? And so that's, I guess the question is, what are you planning? Ilana, you mentioned the being in hospitals, and Sabine, what are you planning anything? What are you planning?
Yeah, so we're planning these videos. So we thought about doing, okay, maybe not. This is very, very, very new. So we're even the clowns of Clown Me, and I didn't discuss it with them yet, but my thought is to do really a series of really, really short videos of 1 to 2 minutes, where one clown appears and gives like an activity, a game, something fun for kids to do. And then they can go and do it, and something that does not involve them being in front of a screen, of course, and that can really make them move their bodies and have fun and maybe play with their family members and stuff like that. And they can, of course, send us a video or send us a photo after, so they feel like somebody there's a give and take. But also just to follow this idea of, okay, we're at home or in a camp or, you know, stuck wherever we are, in a tent or under a tree, but then we can still play and have fun, and without really using the screen, because so many people are now using, of course, the screen, you know, for classes, or adults are using the screen to do some work, and it's just, you want to break the screen, as I was saying. So it's really of just one hint, using this technology, because we have to use the technology in times like this, and then offering them an hour or two without it. So that's one idea that we're going to be working on.
That's, Sabine, we should talk about that, because we just put something on our website that's the same thing, and it started with something that Ilana mentioned of, you know, how she's noticing with her daughter that all of a sudden Ella is spending more time in front of a screen than ever before. And so I mean, I spent a lot of time like hating her for putting this idea in my head of how to build something without a screen, because I'm working so hard to use the screen. And I'm like, but Ilana, just give me a gold star. And so we thought about how all of the play that happens before and after a Clowns Without Borders performance, and like maybe there's a way for that to still happen. Okay, like the clowns, we can't come to you, but if we were there, we would sing a song, or we would maybe play this game. We would find two sticks and make them an instrument. And so that's what we've just put on the website, some of those first ideas, and it would be fun to keep making them. But what else are you doing, Sabine?
Anna was saying is very, very true. So many people don't even have access to internet. So how do we send them these things? And so maybe also we should think about this. So like, it's great for people who have access to internet, but people in camps or in these rural villages, maybe we should find a way to actually go and deliver the tape. No, I mean, we're in the USB stick. Yeah. So that's one thing. The other thing we're doing is just we're keeping our online classes. We were supposed to start working with many communities in around Lebanon to do some street theater based on their stories. So we're kind of stuck now. If anybody has any idea, that would be great. But for now, we're stuck because you can do so much online, but then we want to be there and we want to be performing on the streets. So we don't know if we want to wait or if this is going to be for a year or two. You know, we're trying. We're trying different things, and thinking about, you know, the future, hoping that next year we'll be able to go back to doing our street stuff. I mean, another thing we want to do is we want to take our van and go to places with so many balconies and such, and then have only 2 clowns perform on the roof of the van. But we had concerns that people might go down, and then social distancing will be a bit hard. So also we're still thinking about that. Yeah,
that's such a hard one. I've seen some like really beautiful videos of I believe it was one of my friends who's a German clown, of clowning in the courtyard of a hospital and being able to blow bubbles and having the windows, and in the hospital the sort of the distance was enforced by the walls, but then how, you know, when so much of our work is inviting people to come closer, come to the show, how to then do a show that invites people to participate and stay away. And Ilana, is there anything else that you guys are working on?
Yes, well, we have this first concern about all the work, like paid work, that we got canceled since the beginning of this thing. So we were thinking to sell some videos or online experiences for people that have the access in order for us to have some income. And we also feel that like the first place where we work all the time is the public hospital. And we are trying, as I said before, we thought, okay, let's do some video calls to visit some patients, the ones that with the staff we know that need special emotional attention in these moments. And then it's been very hard because of what I said, that people don't have data and they don't want to consume all their data on a clown call, of course. So we are now also thinking that we need to take care of be next to the ones that are taking care of the situation. So we have started to send some videos to the medical staff. They are having meetings every week, very long, boring, stressful meetings, and we are sending some videos to do some pauses, active pauses or exercises that we artists know how to do in order to be centered, be present, reduce stress, or relax in a little way, or laugh. So we started to do these videos, and they had a very good response. The doctors were like super happy to see us, something that it doesn't happen all the time in the hospital. And now we are going to start to work directly with the psychiatric team of the hospital, which are being in charge of the whole emotional situation. And the doctors asked if we could also visit some adults, which is very interesting, because we used to visit some adults and then they said, no, let's keep it on the children. And now they feel that our work is needed with the adults, especially people that are isolated or are far away from their homes. And all kind of patients, not only the COVID-19 patients, which are definitely isolated. So this is one experiment that I would love to see if the doctors are actually getting to do the stuff we are proposing. And one thing that I asked, if we could join the Zoom meeting, and not only send a video, but be present, as much presence as this can be. And we'll see. With the communities, for us, it's been a challenge because we also, we don't know where to start. I mean, there's so much to do. And in Iquitos, for example, with this group of people we work in the Amazonas, we are making a campaign now to send to the communities money and food, like literally to like the network of the clowns international, how we can, with our contacts, get some money. So we have a group of people there. The first thing we are doing is buying these people all the things they need in order to be safe. And then the money to buy food, and they can share the food with the community, so the community don't need to go out right now.
We had planned on being in Mexico right now, doing a tour specifically in shelters for women and girls who've been trafficked. And we're right now working on making some videos of filming our acts and having a moment of doing an approximation of the show. And that same question, sort of, Sabine, like you were saying, of doing workshops, of also looking at, okay, where were the tours that we were going to focus a lot on workshops, and can we still find a way to do that? And I'm in New York, so like it will be a long time before I can be in a room with people, but especially as I talk to project partners who are in places where a gathering of 4 people is okay, there's that possibility that's like, okay, can I by myself and the 4 of you together, oh, this just sounds lonely now. Like, can we do something? We had a question in the comments, and if anyone else has a question, type them in about if we think and how we think COVID-19 will impact sort of the content of what we make. I think so. I mean, I think something that I'm always aware of is like all of the small ways in which, you know, maybe as clowns we play with violence, or we play with power dynamics, and how, depending on our audience, we have to really think about that. And so I think now we'll have to really think about how we use touch, and how we use being close to each other. And maybe that's an opportunity to be on stilts more. Maybe that's about really celebrating when we do get to be close. And maybe it's as clowns playing with that, both the desire to be close to someone else, and then now this new fear of being close to someone else.
Yeah, definitely. As you're saying, we'll have a lot of material to play with and to have fun with. Like that's the thing. It's exactly how much for us, you know, for like exactly like how much we laugh about really, really terrible things that happened during war, and how everything is a joke, and how this is how we clown around these things to really get over them in a way, or this is what we do. I think that's how COVID is going to be. COVID and that everything we're living and we're experiencing is going to become a great they're going to make great material for us clowns, and for us all people in our everyday life, because that's our only way to get through this get through this. But I feel like I'm still more in I'm not there yet. Like I'm still trying to to find. I'm still getting there, right? But yeah.
See, I also think that this will give us a lot of material. It is giving us already. One other thing we are doing, it's a bad news show online with some other clowns around Colombia and the world, with some friends. And we're trying this, no? How we can laugh about this situation, and if we are able to laugh about this situation right now, no? It's what Sabine is saying also. I've had this conversation with Naomi and other clown friends. Are we using humor in order to cope with what is going on with us at home, with our own fears and our own crisis right now? I think each of us is living a different type of crisis. And yes, if I think of the communities in refugee camps, then my reality looks much brighter. But there are some days that I am home and I am struggling with all the things that I'm feeling, with having my family away, with not knowing when is the next time we can be in a social activity, which I know is healthy. And also this question for my kid, no? Which things are staying in her unconscious about this new reality where the other is the enemy, no? How this is something that I need to work with, in order not to be completely crazy about not touching everything, because I don't want to leave her with a trauma that you cannot ever touch anything again. I don't know. It's very hard, and this is where humor comes to do the work, and it starts at home, and it's not easy. It doesn't work every day, which is something that also made me think these days about the other aspects that we generate as clowns in our audience, poetry, magic, because as I felt sometimes that I cannot laugh, like there have been some moments that I am not in the mood for laughing. And I know Naomi has those times also. What about our audience normally before the COVID? Is it always have to be funny for the audience, or there are some times where I need to do something else, and then maybe I will get back to humor? But these are questions that are on my mind these days also.
I don't think it's the clown's job to always be funny, but I noticed that online, I definitely feel more of a pressure to be a happy clown or to be a funny clown. It's I don't, and maybe that's about me trusting or not knowing who the audience is right now. But one of the things that I love so much about being a clown is getting to go on that full roller coaster of being so happy and then so angry and so frustrated and so lost and maybe all at once, and inviting the audience to come on that too, because especially the laughter and tears are so close, and the invitation to laughter is also that invitation to feel something else. But I don't know, I haven't felt that yet online of having that moment of being like, oh yes, this is an online clown moment where I'm allowed to be here for the poetry or to be here for the existential dread. Sabine?
Yeah, I think what I felt online from the workshops, the fun, happy half hour, is I did feel after the workshop, I did feel like a positive energy that the first time I did it, I was like, wow, I so miss this. Like, I so miss just sharing something silly, but at the same time that has hope, and that's just reminds us that, okay, life is still okay. We're still okay. It's gonna be all right. And I felt so energetic, and I had missed all this energy being, at home by myself, looking at things. I don't know. I lost my thought now. But just saying of I agree that we're really all in. I'm sure we're all struggling to find this connection through the screen and with this new ways of clowning. But also sometimes, I mean, it's there. We just have to keep trying and failing and then trying again, because that's how life is now. So that's how that we take it from here, and we try.
Sí, totalmente. Something we also felt doing this news show was exactly what Sabine just said, that it was like the conclusion after the first transmission, like, I don't care if others laughed or not, or if they enjoyed it or not. For me, it was super therapeutic to put on my nose, to put on my makeup, to do the things that I normally do, because it's my passion, it's what I'm here for, and that also strengthens I hate that word, strengthens my immune system. Like, think of being part of this problem and not in the other side of the problem. We need to take care of ourselves, and clowning is the way I feel I feel better with myself.
I felt sore though when I did the online thing. I mean, I exercise every day and I hoop and I try my best and everything. But then when I did the online thing the first time, I finished and I had this amazing positive energy, but I felt so sore, and I was like, wow, where is my stamina? Or how, or maybe it was so also, you know, stressful but exciting, and it's all of these emotions together. Yeah,
feel like have all of these strange like first love and like mega crush feelings of trying to navigate being online, and I get so stressed and then I get so excited and then I'm like, oh no, is it too much? Is it too much? Am I just sitting here scowling? Wait, does anyone, are you here too? And it's this balance of sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna go do something online again, when really what I want is to be with a person. And then when I'm here, it's finding that way to be like, oh yeah, here we are.
So what happens, it's really sweet to see everybody. What happens when we can touch and connect and dance and play and bring people together again? Like, what is that gonna be for the clown, right? Because we live in this world of like super highs and high highs and low lows, and what will that be for us? And can we prepare for that? And is that the like online performance in preparation of moving forward from being separated?
I mean, if this happens, or when this will happen, I'm just gonna cry hysterically. Now just thinking about it, I feel like, oh, please.
Me too. Like I'm like already, like you were talking about like being with people and like that moment that I'm well, I think I'm gonna have some like extra teary clowning, and I think then the work will be a little bit figuring out of like how to like what's the balance of sharing that and sharing what I'm experiencing with an audience without also like pushing that on the audience, right? Of like, if an audience wants to like have a good time and not have it be about oh, Ilana, do you want to answer the question?
No, I started to sweat when Tim asked the question. It's like, oh my God, this will happen one day. I hope it will. I hope it will. And whatever happens to the clowns there, I will send Tim an email, I'm sure.
But you know, I think this time it's gonna, you know how when we do shows, how I think this is the most beautiful and awesome moment of anything, is really during and after the shows. For me personally, is when I really when I get to hug people, and when they just run and we just hug, and there's this amazing, just so like open, endless love that goes between us, like the clowns and people. And I think this is just gonna be over the top after this pandemic, because we all miss it so much. I mean, miss the real the real connection that is, you connect with your soul, but you connect with your body, you connect with everything. And I think it's not going to be only on the clowns, it's just going to be on everyone, or I just hope so. I don't know. I'm just
Maybe it's the clown that's who's the mythical character that carries you from one place to another. And maybe that has to be the clown, because it can be messy for us and we can make mistakes and make it okay for other people to make mistakes. It's sort of like the escorts. We enter people into a new realm and out of a new realm. And like, this is the biggest new realm we've ever been in, maybe.
Yeah.
It's made me realize how much I do really love being a clown, which there are moments where I'm not as sure about that, or I keep, trying to think like anything else. And in this moment of missing it, and also, like Sabine said, of all of those moments that it's not the being on stage. It's not like, oh, but I just want to do my act. It's like, oh no, it's all of those moments of play and discovery, and that those vibrations of how exciting it is to be in this world of play and meeting people and having no idea where it's going to go, but also trusting, like, okay, here we are together.
Our job now. I am thinking a lot of the other stuff clowns will need to know right now. Like, it's what Tim was saying. Are we getting prepared to face trauma? And not only for the communities we work with, but from everybody. And it's a question I asked myself, if I have the clown technique and that will be enough for what it takes now, in the moment we go out and we continue our normal job, or it is important now that we nourish this work with other layers of tools, no? I think, for example, the medical staff in the hospitals are going through, if they work in a stressful and hard situation all their lives, this will mark their lives in a before and after. And it's the same for everybody. In Cali, in Colombia, we still don't know how long will this be, and all the bad things we don't want to think about right now, because it was getting too high, the conversation, and now I felt like again, we need to be prepared. And are we getting prepared, or we are in this adaptation to this normal right now? And how are we going to contribute to this new world that we want to live in? Because there are some things that scare me a lot right now. Naomi me va a odiar. You will hate me for this now. Yeah.
No. I agree. I think we really have to, when we're ready, to start preparing for next, because this is not gonna end soon, anytime soon. So it's but I think that I always feel like I am so lucky in life to have encountered clowning and to be doing this as like my full-time job, and to have awesome people around me all over the world who do the same, or and appreciate this art and this way of connection with each other. And I feel we'll get there. We'll figure it out once once we get over our traumas. But but we'll figure it out. It will happen, and then eventually we'll go back and clown all around. So yeah.
Yeah, I have this tension of planning, which I love, and being present, which is harder. And I keep, on March 12th, I thought, okay, we're postponing the tour for a month, and for a while I just, it felt like every week I was torturing myself by crossing something out and just moving it, and like, oh, I'll move it another week, I'm going to keep preparing for what's next. And now I'm trying to say, okay, how can I be here? Because I also know, like, I can't clown about this if I'm not actually willing to be in it. I can't, I'm not going to be able to be present with someone on the other side if I'm not actually willing to let myself be present in it now. And I also feel so lucky in some ways to this moment of of just thinking about being with the two of you. And there's this way that it's like, okay, we're no farther away from each other than I am to my friend who lives 2 miles away. And there's this moment of gathering and of rallying and finding this new way of trusting, like, okay, we can keep, maybe the preparation and maybe the building we're doing is by staying open with each other, even if it doesn't look like how we used to plan and how we used to prepare.